In today's video, we are gonna read and review some books recommended by some of the famous celebrities out there. Now, why, you may ask? Ever since I've been reading, I've been also consuming a lot of content related to books in different social medias like in Instagram or like in YouTube Shorts, and often I get suggested videos like, did you know this book Alia Bhatt loved so much? And I'm like, no. And did you know this book changed Ananya Panday's outlook to life? I don't know. I don't know these books. Am I missing out on something? And it looks like some of these books are very common among, the answers that they give when an interviewer asks them, what's your favorite book? And I was like, these are not even in my radar to read anytime soon. So I was intrigued. And you should note, these are people who have to actually choose stories, right, for a living. They're reading scripts for their movies, right? So they have a lot of experience. They should be able to relate a lot of things with, of course, a script is different from a novel, but still, we should be able to, rely on them for their recommendations. So I thought, let's go ahead and find some of these books, read, review them, and judge these celebrities solely based on their book taste, right? Okay, so that's this video. We're gonna find a couple of interviews that these celebrities have given over a period of time and find those books, buy them, maybe if I don't have them already, and see what it's all about. Okay, let's go. Time to choose the books, right? Okay, let's see. So the most common interview that I've seen is from Ananya Panday. So let's see what she says.
You would not see me walking without a book anywhere. Like, I would always be reading, and then I kind of stopped because of school. Anyway, there was so. I read Sally Rooney's books, Normal People, Conversations with Friends, Beautiful World, Where Are You? I really enjoyed those. And then there was Palace of Illusions and Forest of Enchantments, which I love.
Palace of Illusions. Now, this is a very common name. You're gonna hear it very often, I think.
I have a favorite book. It's a book that I read in 3 days. It's a book called Palace of Illusions by Chitra Banerjee.
Palace of Illusions, जब release हुई थी book तब मैंने पढ़ी थी. It's really nice. You must read it.
Quite a few people vouching for that book. Let's add Palace of Illusions to our list. Book 1 added. There's also the Forest of Enchantment that I've heard a lot of people recommend. Let's keep it on the back burner. Then there's another person that I've heard, Aditi. And I've heard she and her family are quite voracious readers.
So there's a really sweet book which I've named many times. It's called The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. I love that book. It's by Mark Haddon.
Oh, that sounds intriguing. Curious Case of a Dog. Okay, let's add that. I'm curious about Anushka. Is there anything related to Anushka Sharma? Jhumpa Lahari. Okay, not my taste at all. Probably short stories. We could read a couple of stories. Yeah. Okay, there's another person, Mrunal Thakur.
वक्त वो perform भी कर रही थी वहाँ. She was reading few from Milk and Honey. I remember I was sitting next to my friend.
Yeah, this was something that was on my radar. Milk and Honey. Yes, let's add that. I think it's a short one. Okay, I think 4 books are good enough. So let's see if these ladies have, good reading taste. Let's start. Okay, we have The Unaccustomed Earth by Jhumpa Lahari. It's my first Jhumpa Lahari book. If this video has motivated me to read more Indian writing, I would be really happy. But specifically Jhumpa Lahari, I have heard about it a lot, studied about it a lot, never read it. So, should be a good motivator. Oh my, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. I don't know anything about these books. Okay. A lot of things. Let's read the blurb. A lot of things are mischievous, but that doesn't mean there isn't an answer to them. Is my mic on? Okay. This is Christopher's murder mystery story. There are no lies in the story because Christopher can't tell lies. He does not like strangers or colors, yellow or brown or being touched. On the other hand, he knows all the countries in the world and their capital cities, and every prime number up to 7507. When Christopher decides to find out who killed the neighbor's dog, his mystery story becomes more complicated than he could have ever predicted. Okay, this is a vintage classic, and the book has numbers and photographs. So it's those multimedia kind of a novel, which is a murder mystery. I always love that type. Okay, this is not something that I would have picked out if not for Aditi's recommendation, maybe. Let's see. Okay. I'm not doing a very satisfying unboxing, I guess. Okay, this is Palace of Illusions. I got this as a back burner and I've heard a lot of good things about this one. Now, the one that we are looking for is, in fact, Forest of Enchantments. This looks pretty. The cover looks very pretty than the Palace of Illusions. I think both of these books are by Chitra Banerjee. They are mythology retellings. Now, I've read fairy tale retellings a lot. Sleeping Beauty, Beauty and the Beast, these retellings. And I've also read Greek mythology retellings, like Persephone's or Medusa's, or like, I think I've recommended some of them too. Circe, the Song of Achilles, Electra. I've read a lot of Greek mythology retellings. So this is the first time that I'm reading an Indian mythology retelling. This is the story of Ramayana from the perspective of Sita, and this is the story of Mahabharata from the perspective of Draupadi. Now, if you don't know about retellings, how it usually works is that you change the POV from narrator looking from up above, putting the lens into the characters inside. Now, if I read less Indian books, I read even lesser Malayalam books. Now, different reasons for this, but there is one retelling that I love so much. If you're a Malayali, you're able to go and read. This means MT's Randamoolam. I have read that book twice and in different period of my life, and I'm so moved by how a retelling works in that way, and it is not a boring book at all. So that is Mahabharata from the perspective of Bhima, and it's an interesting take on it. That's the least I could say. You know how famous the author is, how famous the book is. So it's not a recommendation, it's just that you should read it if you're into reading and if you are a Malayali. Get to read it in Malayalam then. So these are the books that we have. And I also have Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. I'm reading it on my Kindle Unlimited. I would love to have the copy, but it doesn't get here on time or something. But I'm going to read it on my phone. It's a poetry collection, and I'll try to vlog reading these books. I will not be able to get reactions maybe, but after I finish each of this, I'll come and give you an update on how our celebrity recommendations went, right? And if I lost my money or not. Start with The Curious Incident of the Dog, I think, because that's the most intriguing to me. I finished the book. The first book that we are reading for the video is The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. Who recommended this? Aditi recommended this. This book, I'm so glad I picked it up for this video. Otherwise, I would have never found out about this, and I would have missed out on a great piece of literature. It's a vintage classic. It has stood the test of time, I would say. I really liked it. Yeah, the book is about Christopher Boone, who is autistic. He has Asperger's syndrome from birth, and he is taking us through his life when he encounters a curious incident one night. Like, as you can see from the cover, there is a dead dog. I know it's a very grim premise, but the storytelling is quite detached. Like, how you would perceive life through the lens of a 15-year-old autistic boy, that is how you will read the events in the story. So when there is a dog that is dead, or if there is a
parent who is sick or something. Usually these concepts or storyline would actually be triggers for me in a book, and I would refrain from reading it because it will actually, make us emotional. But in this book, the protagonist is, since he's autistic, how he would think about it is in all very technical, and it's all in a matter of fact for him. So he would say like, yeah, everything that is born is supposed to die. So he would give us that angle to think, so that it is a very detached style that we as a reader would also go through. It's very funny and quirky and sardonic when it is not meant to be, but that's the life of a person. Like, if you have someone in your life, someone who suffers or who is autistic, basically, this book would help you understand them a lot and understand the people around them, a lot, what kind of life they would be going through. And the book starts off like a murder mystery, and it is on a very light note. It starts, but it'll touch base on a lot of serious concepts. And when I said that this has multimedia content, like the Good Girl's Guide to Murder that has multimedia content like interview and all of that, audio clips, and in this one it's like math problems and quadratic equations and maps and like, I don't know, things that he would actually visualize in his brain when he's thinking about stuff. For me, when I thought about this person talking, he reminded me so much of Sheldon from Big Bang Theory. Sheldon Cooper with an English accent. That is what I was imagining. So it was very entertaining for me to read, imagining Sheldon in this position. So if you're a fan of Big Bang Theory, I think that is a very good analogy to keep in mind while you're reading this book. So kudos to Aditi for having such good taste in books. I trust you, and I would recommend anything else that you read, that you would say. That's our first book. I started the infamous Palace of Illusions by Chitra Banerjee. So far, we know the story, what's going to happen. We know who Draupadi is going to marry, what's going to happen. That's where I'm at, actually, at her wedding now. Yeah. I'll let you know when I finished this, and let's continue. Finished Palace of Illusions. It was a very good read, and I think it was a very fresh read for me to read an Indian mythology from an Indian writer after a long time. Okay, now we know that this is a retelling of Mahabharata from perspective of Draupadi or Panchali, and little did I know that Mahabharata from her point of view is a very sad love story between Draupadi and Karna, and that was a very interesting take and new to me. I did not know that backstory at all. So it was new, and this is a 10th anniversary edition. I'm sure this would have created havoc when it was released. But yeah, there are. So the author did try to include a lot of the side stories. The epic is really huge, but we did get from Draupadi's childhood, her teenage, her Swayamvaram, her life with her mother-in-law, life in the forest, the palace, Indraprastha, then the war, Krishna's life in it, and her death and her afterlife, the whole circle, and yeah, you understand Mahabharata now from a different person's experience. So yeah, and everyone who recommended this, I get it, why this is an easy read for them, because you know the story anyway. You're just trying to fit into this one person's lens to understand what they went throughout the whole story, which we all know. So yeah, I get the hype behind it, and I think it is appropriately hyped. I'll pick up maybe the Forest of Enchantments next month, but this was a solid read. This is different from what I usually pick up, and it was a refresher for my reading journey. So I'm happy I picked this up. The Palace of Illusions. So solid recommendations from Ananya, Alia Bhatt, everyone else who are recommending this. Right after, I picked up The Unaccustomed Earth by Jhumpa Lahiri. This was recommended by Anushka Sharma. I am very intrigued. She posts pictures of the book she read in her Instagram stories, and I did not see her in her interview talking about this anywhere. But yeah, this is something that she has endorsed many times in her social media. So I thought I'll pick this up. I've just started the first story. So I finished reading. So this video we started with thinking if celebrity recommendations are actually worth a try to see what their book tastes are. And the last book in the video that I was reading was Jhumpa Lahari's Unaccustomed Earth. This is a short story collection, and if you have not read from Jhumpa Lahari, like me, if you're a beginner, short stories like this are great. And I've read only the first two stories. This is how I usually read short stories. I take a long period of time, use them as freshers in between longer novels. So I liked the one that's called Unaccustomed Earth the most. The story is about a father who's coming back to visit his daughter and family. They are a Bengali family from Calcutta who moved to Pennsylvania and Seattle in the early 90s, and the next generation is also living there. Now they have married into the American culture, and their kids are only half Bengali, and how grandfather is trying to cope with a life there, how the recent death of his wife has affected him, how he is finding new love in a recent Europe trip that he took. So it is a slice of life, 60 pages, that is very realistic and close to heart, and it's easy writing. Definitely going to continue this and finish this over the course of next 2 months in between novels, and I approve. The suggestion was great. I'm sure Anushka would have had a great time reading this. So, yep, not time wasted. So I also read Ruby Kau's Milk and Honey. So Milk and Honey is a poetry collection of I would say it is like portraying woman rage in poetry, and everything about being a woman in rage, being a woman in love, being a woman who's depressed, being a woman in pain, everything about the essence of being this entity that is getting tortured, and also representing what it feels to be like, this creature on earth. Like any other poetry, this is not something that you can grasp on a peripheral level. It's very, it's quite deep-rooted, the concepts, and it's not an easy read. The first collection of it was it's very rough, and it's not like a feel good. You would not feel good after reading it. It would be like it's all plain, blatant truth. You feel sad that is the truth. I personally don't think that I would read a lot of poetry, and I choose to actually read books for having fun, going into a different world, being detached from reality. So the escapism is the reason why I read books. Poetry, like Milk and Honey, bring the cruel realities of life very close to us, through the writing. So I would try to refrain from reading, much of that. Maybe once in a while, like this, like for a video idea or something. But otherwise, not for me. But we finished all the books that we set out to read for this video, and from all the celebrities who helped us to create an unusual stack of books that I would have otherwise never picked up. We had The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, then The Palace of Illusions, then Unaccustomed Earth, and Milk and Honey. These are the books that I read, and I think hands down my favorite recommendation, and a book that I'm going to keep recommending to people, but because I think it's very underrated. I don't think it is getting any hype. Maybe it had its time, but I think you should bring back hype to this book. It is The Curious Incident of a Dog in the Nighttime. The winner of this video's, recommendation. I think Aditi Rao has impeccable taste, and this was a hidden gem. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have other interesting concepts, do let me know. I'd love creating videos on books. And if you liked the video, if you're still watching and you like the content that I create, do consider subscribing, and stay tuned for more bookish related content. Okay, catch you in my next video.